Did you see the post from, I believe it's the Washington Times, and they reported on some of the comments that Elon Musk made. And as we all know, Elon Musk is one of the most influential people around the world right now. He was able to influence the US last presidential election. He worked his butt off and he basically made Trump the president, with his fund. So he's basically proposing a universal eye income to solve the problem of AI driven job loss. And I'm kind of thinking, how is that going to happen? Who's going to give the government money to distribute to the people that are not able to get jobs because of AI?
I think if they really want to do UBI, I think that that's probably the only way to fund it. They really have to tax the companies that are, introducing AI or using AI, replacing labor, human labor with AI and automation. So I think that's the only way that I can think of that they can pay for it. Sooner than later, it will become a problem because I have seen people that have put in close to 600 applications. In fact, I've seen people that put in almost 50 applications every week, and then a lot of them are not scoring interviews. Some get interview and they don't get past the first stage of the interview. It's becoming difficult to get by for a lot of people. If you don't have a support system, it's becoming very, very difficult. Even if you have a support system, at some point they will get tired. So it is imperative that the government step in and begin to think of, how to solve this big problem.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Y and E podcast. Thank you for joining us. And if you haven't subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button, like, share, and engage with us in the comment section. Did you see the post from, I believe it's the Washington Times, and they reported on some of the comments that Elon Musk made. And as we all know, Elon Musk is one of the most influential people around the world right now. He was able to influence the US last presidential election. He worked his butt off and he basically made Trump the president, with his fund. So he's basically proposing a universal eye income to solve the problem of AI driven job loss. And I'm kind of thinking, how is that going to happen? Who's going to give the government money to distribute to the people that are not able to get jobs because of AI? Are these companies going to give money to the government? These same companies that don't want to pay any taxes, this same company that would try to find all the loopholes to pay 0% in tax if possible. So I can't picture how they're going to go about it. I can't picture the application. I can't picture how they're going to do it because you need employers to pay their employees so the employees can put money into the government's account and they can also put money in the economy. They can buy stuff, they can do stuff with it. So you're basically cutting out employees and then you're giving money to the government direct. So with the money you're going to be giving to the government, is it going to be enough for the government to maintain the roads, to maintain all the social amenities for the public and still have enough to pay people? And is AI going to be a lot more productive than in order for the billionaires to make more money or to become trillionaires or gazillionaires? And as we all know, with the current economy, with the current crux of billionaires, they don't have to pay taxes. And there's a report that Jeff Bezos only takes about $80,000 in salary annually. And then all of his other benefits, they're taken in stock options. Then he can borrow against those stock options and pay zero taxes on them whenever he takes loan from them. But he's still paying taxes on this $80,000 income. But I'm sure if he has many deductions, he can end up paying zero. People that are working their tail off, they're not able to take that kind of advantage. When big businesses are doing this, when billionaires are doing this, are you telling me they're gonna take from their AI profit and give it to the government to give to the people? I don't really see that happening. What do you think?
If they really want to do UBI, I think that that's probably the only way to fund it. They really have to tax the companies that are, introducing AI or using AI, replacing labor, human labor with AI and automation. So I think that's the only way that I can think of that they can pay for it. Sooner than later, it will become a problem because I have seen people that have put in close to 600 applications. In fact, I've seen people that put in almost 50 applications every week, and then a lot of them are not scoring interviews. Some get interview and they don't get past the first stage of the interview. For myself, I've probably put in more than 2,000 applications. I've been able to score some interview and then, but no offer yet. But it's becoming difficult to get by for a lot of people. If you don't have a support system, it's becoming very, very difficult. Even if you have a support system, at some point they will get tired. So it is imperative that the government step in and begin to think of, how to solve this big problem. AI, companies can use AI for their productivity, for their manufacturing, but AI is not going to go to market to spend money. AI is not going to rent a house. AI is not going to buy a house. AI will not go and take out loan to buy a car. AI will not do so many things that that props up the economy. So even if companies are using AI to replace human labors and becoming more profitable, yeah, but somebody has to go to market to buy something. Somebody has to go to the market to buy something to pay taxes to the federal government and to state government and to the municipalities. So I think it's a welcome idea from Elon Musk. In fact, if this is coming from him, so it means that he is already recognizing the problem that this thing poses. There has to be a way to solve this problem. But the only way I can think is for the government, federal, local, and state to start taxing the companies that are, already undercutting human labors and they're using AI, using automation, maybe companies that are supposed to have like maybe 20 human labors. Now they are cutting it down to 5 because of the automation and because of introduction of AI. So there has to be a way to solve this problem. But I think the only way, if they want to go the UBI route, I think the only way they can fund the UBI is to tax the companies more.
So do you think the companies are going to be willing to pay more in taxes? Remember, these probably publicly traded companies, and they want to make money. The stock market will reward them based on how much money they're able to keep. So if they're giving everything back to the government or giving 90% of it back to the government, it's going to affect their value because they're not going to be able to make money. Although they're going to be pumping out goods and services, they're going to be pumping out a lot of productivity. At the same time, they are not going to be able to give investors a lot of money because governments wants to take a lot of cuts, and that cut is going to eat into their profit. And this idea is not a new idea. I believe Andrew Yang was the first person that I heard it from back in 2016, during that Hillary Clinton and Democratic, presidential debate. So it's not a new idea. The implementation for me is what I can picture because I'm struggling to believe that these big organizations are going to be willing to pay their own fair share. Right now, we're struggling with companies, we're struggling with billionaires paying their fair share because they're already saying they're paying a lot. The person making less than $100,000 is probably paying more in taxes than all these billionaires, right? Based on percentage, right? Are you telling me these billionaires are going to stand by and give all their money to the government? And these are the people that are fighting against socialism and they're saying socialism is not good. But now they're now talking about UBI because it's going to favor their company. Even if it's going to favor their company, they still want more money, right? Billionaires are not okay with the money they have. They want more money. And if AI is going to give them more money, I'm sure they'll find a loophole to not pay those taxes. And I think UPI, I agree, it's a good idea. And I've also seen some comments online about if we start giving people UBI, how is that gonna end? Returning the country into a socialist country. And people are saying, what about the purpose of the employees? People have purpose. That's why they get up in bed every morning and go out, go work and make money and do whatever they want. So would the government pay them enough? Would the billionaires, the companies be willing to give more to the government so that they can give it to the people and the people can continue to live their lives? We know in some European countries there's some kind of investment into the people. So the people, even in Canada, I think during COVID, they were paying the employees to stay home. In some European countries, they were paying their employees to stay home. But in the US, no free lunch. There was no free lunch. If you didn't work, you didn't get any income. And most companies, they'll probably give you maybe 5 days of paid COVID money. And then after that, it's either you go on short-term disability or you come to work sick. So I don't really see the true implementation. I'm sure they can talk about it, make it an idea, but the actual implementation is going to be difficult. Because right now, the billionaires don't want to help nobody. And the only way they can help people is by paying more in taxes. But most billionaires are not willing to pay more in taxes, which is unfortunate. And if they're not willing to pay more in taxes, how are they going to fund the UBI? That's what I don't get. But it is what it is. I mean, we'll see how the implementation goes when we get to that stage. But I'm thinking a lot of organizations, they're basically overreacting with the AI thing. It's going to improve productivity, but you're still going to need people to maintain your infrastructure, to maintain your system. So you're still going to hire people. Maybe not as much as you would need without automation or without AI. But eventually, maybe they'll go back and continue to hire more people and continue to pay people because you're taking taxes away from the federal, the state, and the local government. And if they don't have money, how are they going to provide social amenities, good roads, take care of the snow? How are they going to take care of all of that if the people are not paying taxes? If the people don't have enough money to go shop, how is the economy going to continue to improve? I think it's a very slippery slope, but I believe anything is possible, especially in regards to the people that are definitely struggling with finding jobs right now and things like that. So, with the current social system or social safety net that we have right now, people that are losing their jobs due to AI. And when they when they file for unemployment insurance, it takes them time to get the money. And when they get the money, it's not even enough. It's not paying any bills. And then they will have to find something to do until they find another job. I think it's a good idea. And I hope that they will put a good thought into it before they roll it out, if they ever roll it out.
Yeah. Um, the only problem we'll run into is that corporations are naturally greedy. Otherwise, I don't see any problem with them paying more in taxes since they'll be doing away with human labor because with human labor, you have salary, you have sick time, you have vacation, you have health insurance. In most cases, you have a life insurance offered to the employee, and then you contribute to their 401k and all of that stuff, and you contribute to their retirement. But once you go AI and automation and robotics, you don't have to worry about all of those things. So I do not really see any big deal in taking almost 20% of those savings and say, let me contribute it towards the UBI. UBI is probably not going to be like, it's not going to be like you are getting $10,000 every month. You probably be around the minimum wage bracket. Just enough for them to keep you alive. Nothing luxury, nothing, mega, just enough for them to keep you afloat. That's it. So if not because corporations are reading with a greed, I really do not see how they cannot contribute 25%, 30% of their savings and towards the UBI. But I think ultimately that is going to be what will happen. But when will the UBI happen? Honestly, do not know. It probably will not be in our lifetime. It will probably be in our children's lifetime, or it may not be when we are still working. It may happen when we are retired. Okay. But I think it will definitely happen with the pace the AI and automation are going. It will definitely happen because there is a big problem facing us, and that problem has to be solved. And the only way I can see them solving that problem, like Elon Musk said, is UBI, unless the government will make legislation to scale back AI and automation. But I don't see Republicans agree to that. Even Democrats, I don't see them agreeing to that. I don't see them agreeing to scaling it back. So we have a big problem, and that problem needs to be solved. And the only solution to that problem might just be UBI. And the only way to fund that UBI is for companies to pay more in taxes. But We'll keep the conversation going. Let us know what you think about the UBI that Elon Musk has, just suggested. Though it's not a new idea, Andrew Yang, during 2016 Democratic debate, he suggested it. So let us know what you think about the UBI, and we'll be happy to engage with you in the comment section.